Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Short Play, a series of quick tours of games I like on a variety of platforms, new and old. Today's game is Dungeons & Dragons Heroes, which was a 2003 Xbox exclusive from one of the many companies that have picked up the Atari name over the years. In this instance, it was the company that was originally known as GT Interactive, who was subsequently acquired by French company Infogrames in 1999 and rebranded to Atari Inc. in 2003. Now, this company has absolutely nothing to do with the Atari that made the classic Atari consoles, despite using the exact same branding and logo. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Dungeons & Dragons Heroes was designed by Brenda Romero, who had established a name for herself with her work for Surtech on the classic Wizardry series of role-playing games, along with its stablemate strategy game Jagged Alliance and first-person role-playing game Realms of Arcania, which subsequently became known as part of the Dark Eye series. Dungeons & Dragons Heroes is loosely based on the 3rd Edition rule set for Dungeons & Dragons, which marks the point where the franchise introduced the popular D20 system that was also used in a number of other role-playing games from the period. As an action RPG, Dungeons & Dragons Heroes doesn't strictly implement the D&D rules, but it does make use of numerous game elements that were introduced in 3rd Edition D&D, such as the ability to increase your stats every few levels and learning feats, assuming prerequisites have been met. D&D Heroes was compared to similar action RPGs of the era, particularly Snowblind's popular Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance series, which was the first real-time digital adaptation of D&D Third Edition. D&D Heroes distinguished itself from its peers by offering the option for up to 4-player drop-in, drop-out local co-op though. Most other games of this type offered only simultaneous 2-player gameplay at most. We'll be flying solo today though, hacking and slashing our way through a sequence from partway through the game. So let's go play Dungeons & Dragons Heroes.
Okay, here we are with Dungeons & Dragons Heroes for the Xbox. This is a hack and slash action RPG that I'm rather fond of. Didn't actually play it through to completion back in the day, for one reason or another. I think mostly because I sort of was just coming off the back of both Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2, which I played through in co-op with my friend Sam, which is absolutely the way to play those games if you've not played them before. But no, this is one that I like a lot. It is similar to Dark Alliance in some ways, but it's also got its own unique twists to it as well, particularly structure. Dark Alliance was very, very linear. This is pretty linear as well, but the way it's presented makes it feel a bit less linear. So the concept of this is that there's an evil mage who has risen from the dead, and you are a hero who defeated this mage in the past. You have also been raised from the dead. And so it's your job to go and fuck him up, as tends to be the case with this sort of thing. At this point I'm at in this playthrough here, I've reached this castle that was originally like a stronghold for the good guys, but has kind of been a little bit overrun with drow. But there are still people hanging out there, such as our friend Rick, the shopkeeper over here, who is sort of giving us most of our quests at the minute. And what we're trying to do at the moment is we're trying to get all these scepters that will allow us to open various portals and basically get a little bit closer to dealing with this evil wizard. So, where I left off, I've just got the 3rd out of the 4th scepter that we need for that in order to happen. And so now I just need to check what I'm carrying around, see if there's anything I can sell off to save a bit of weight. I think we're probably good for the minute, actually.
What do you need?
Okay, well, let's be on our way then. So, the last of these scepters that we're after is in the dungeons of the castle, as these things tend to be. So far, we've been through the barracks, we've been through the treasury, we've been through the Church of Pelor that's in the castle, and now it's time to proceed into the dungeon to find the final scepter. So I'm not actually sure how far through the game I am. If it's anything like Dark Alliance, it's probably a bit shorter than your average full-length RPG. The main reason for that being that it's designed to be replayed with different characters and on different difficulty levels and sort of different combinations of characters if you're playing in multiplayer as well. So I suspect the whole thing is about maybe 10-15 hours or so. That was about how long Dark Alliance was. But yeah, I'm no idea sort of how far through I am in the grand scheme of things. Like I say, I haven't finished this game before, so. But I do like it. I do like it a lot. And as I say, it was actually quite a pleasant surprise. I didn't know beforehand that this was the work of Brenda Romero of Wizardry fame. So it was kind of cool to discover that she was involved with this. Ah, drow everywhere. Ooh. I don't know what you are, but I don't like you. So combat in this, you got your basic melee attack, which you can even sort of be reasonably competent with as a wizard in this game, which is nice. I am being a wizard because I'm usually a wizard in this sort of game, because it's fun, because making big numbers pop out of things is enjoyable. But also, if you hold down the right trigger, you get this menu here where you can assign your various spells and skills to the buttons on your controller. Ow! Stock sound from Doom there. Hope everyone caught that. Yeah, it's funny. I saw someone talking about this the other day. Everyone thinks of those as the Doom sound effects, but no. They're just a bunch of stock sound effects that have been used many, many times before and since. So if you ever watched a sci-fi movie and thought, oh, that door sounds a bit like the ones in Doom. Yes, it probably does. Similarly, if there's a beastie in a fantasy game that makes a growl that sounds a bit like the imps from Doom, yes, it probably does. Almost exactly like the imps in Doom, one might say. So, there are a few liberties taken with the core D&D rules, as you can see. Standard D&D makes use of what we tend to describe as a Vancian magic system, which is where you have a certain number of casts, or a certain number of spell slots per day, I should say, and you can fill those up with any of the spells that you've memorized. What we have in this is we just have a fairly simple magic point style system. It's referred to as mystical will here, because D&D doesn't have magic points. No. But yeah, it works in the same way. It basically means you can cast any of your spells anytime, as long as you've got mystical will to do that. And there are, of course, potions to replenish your mystical will as well. So it may not be, strictly speaking, true to the D&D rules, but it works a lot better as a video game, particularly an action RPG. This was a turn-based game, I might feel a bit differently, but as it stands, because of the very nature of this game and the way it works, yeah, you don't want to be resting for 72 hours every time you cast 3 spells. So you'll see here I am, of course, casting Magic Missile, the long-standing favourite of the wizarding fraternity, for its ease of use and effectiveness. As in this, it homes in. The more levels you pump into it, the more projectiles you get. It can actually output a surprisingly solid amount of damage. Oh, stop that. For relatively minimal mystical will outlay. So, the information you can see on the screen. Up in the top left, you've got my status readout. If you're playing with more players, each player has their own corner of the screen. So you're going to have up to 4 people playing at once in this. And thus, each player will have their status readout in the corner of the screen. So, the green bar that's kind of curling around the circle, that is my experience. So when that fills up, quite shortly, all being well, I will level up, at which point I will gain some points to expend on my traits, and every few levels you can also increase one of your stats as well. That was a big new thing that was introduced in D&D Third Edition, and it's also a big sort of distinguishing factor of Dungeons and Dragons in general. it explains why this game is less of a loot whoring game than your average kind of Diablo-like under most circumstances. Because, can I not get in there? Oh, I can't jump down there. No. No, the reason your average Diablo-like is so full of loot is because your stats are designed to be very fluid. Each piece of equipment you pick up is designed to affect your stats quite significantly. And so there's lots of different ways you could approach that, lots of different increases and decreases you could do to stats. Whereas in D&D, your stats are relatively static. In 3rd edition, as I say, you can increase them through leveling up, and there are certain items that increase. Ouch! There are certain items that increase your stats via a certain amount. But for the most part, your stats are relatively fixed. Back in 2nd and 1st edition, they were literally fixed. So you rolled your character up at the start. Those were then the stats that you were stuck with for your entire adventuring career. So that explains why so many people, when they're playing old school Dungeons and Dragons games like the SSI Gold Box games or the things like the original Baldur's Gate, why they spend so much time on character creation. It's because it's very much in your interest in those games to... these are all traps, aren't they? Ow! Ow! Run away! Yeah, in those games it's very much in your interest to try and get the best stats possible, because otherwise you're just skimping yourself. When you're playing a tabletop version of Dungeons & Dragons, that can sometimes be sort of semi-desirable because it can lead to some interesting role-playing situations. So if you have a mage who's very sort of frail, for example, and prone to getting sick or something, that makes for some interesting role-playing situations. But when you're playing a game like this, all you're doing if you have poor stats is making life unnecessarily more difficult for yourself. And since there's not a lot of quote-unquote role-playing in this kind of game, you generally want the best stats. And so in this game, each of the player characters, there's four playable characters, different classes, they have predefined stats to begin with, but when you level up, you can increase various things about them to customize them a bit. But that also explains why there's not much loot, because loot in D&D tends to pretty much just affect your armor class and maybe some resistances. And so there's no need for the amount of loot you have in something like Diablo, because you're just not affecting those stats. You're just armouring yourself up a bit more. Okay, so I leveled up. I gained 6 hit points and I gained 11 mystical will points. Select a move or trait to improve. I've got 105 points to spend. I got Vampiric Drain. Targeted connection that does damage to enemies and drains a percentage of that damage back to heal the wizard. That sounds quite fun. Meditation allows the hero to regain mystical will much faster than normal. That sounds definitely useful. Let's have that. And I've got 25 points left, which I don't think is enough for anything other than a jump kick finisher, which I don't really want. Okay, right, well, let's see how we get on. Let's try going this way. The mark of the guards will open this door. Let's try going this way. Ow. Oh, pain. Much pain. Yeah, let's not get too much into melee. I know I have a nice finishing move, but... get out of here. Ow! Do not like. Okay. 4 dual scepters open this door. Right, so that is our long-term goal for this part of the game. We're trying to find 4 jewel scepters to open that door and continue on our way. However, we can't go that way because we've only got 3 of the 4 jewel scepters so far. We can't go this way because it's locked. I think. Unless we can blow it down with these barrels. Nope, because they're not explodey barrels. So where to, I wonder? And look over here, that's where all the horrible fire traps were. I don't think there was anything super interesting up here. Can't kill the wizard in that cell from here, that's a shame. Can kill that dude though. Aha. Find the lever to open this gate. You're on. Ow! I found the lever. Now if you could stop hurling magic at me for a moment, that would be lovely. That's not stopping hurling magic at me, is it? That's hitting me with a sword. So I guess that is stopping hurling magic at me. It's just damaging me in a different way. If you could stop it regardless, that would be lovely. Stop that. Oh, you're a tough one. There's some interesting, almost sort of arcade-style influences in this game, actually. It's like when you run out of hit points, it's not just immediate game over if you're playing by yourself. You have these raised dead amulets that you acquire over the course of the game, and they basically function as continues. So when you, when you die, you can use one of those amulets and resurrect yourself. Now, obviously, you want to try and avoid doing that as much as possible because, much like credits in an arcade game, you ideally want to save those for the more difficult parts of the game. But, you know, sometimes you just get the crap kicked out of you and there's nothing you can do about that, so... Generally speaking with the wizard, you want to try and avoid melee combat as much as possible because although she is perfectly capable at dishing out some damage, she's not very good at taking it. There is a feat you can take that reduces the amount of damage she takes from melee. I have not taken that yet. I'm starting to think it might be a good idea. Maybe next level up. Oh, I'm out of healing potions. Well, let's see how we get on. I can always head back to the shop. It's not like it's far away. I could also just not get hit as well. Easier said than done. Especially when those wizards are around. Ow. Yeah, I think it might be worth going back and getting a few healing potions. So let's go do that, shall we? So, one of the nice things about this game is it's split up into fairly nice, easily digestible chunks. Sort of simple quests and things like that. It has a nice feeling of coherence in that all of these quests are contributing to the same overall goal you're trying to achieve. But also, at the same time, you can sit down with this for 15 minutes or so and feel like you've achieved something. You get a level up, you finish a quest, you find a helpful item.
I suspect the fourth scepter may be somewhere in the Hall of the Guard. It's the most secure place in the dungeon. Anything I can get you? Welcome back.
Right, let's sell some hot garbage. Got scale boots +1, so I don't need scale boots. Lancets, I'm not a rogue, so I can't use those. Ooh, they're worth a lot of money. Thrown hammers I'm not using, so I get rid of those. Pyrokins cause incredible fiery blasts upon impact. Sounds like fun. Rod of missiles I don't need because I can just cast magic missile. Rod of fire I will be able to cast fireball at some point soon, so we'll leave that for now. Blood ring +1 increases constitution by +1 while ring is equipped. I think that might actually be a more worthwhile use of a ring slot than +1 charisma. Because charisma does give you more level up points, but not by a lot. It means you can get better prices when you sell stuff as well, but again, that's not super important. Let me just check my current equipment. So I'm wearing scale mail, a leather helm, leather gloves +3, scale boots. Could do with scale helmet and scale gloves. So one of them. And one of them. Alright, fully scaled up now. And then just some potions, I think. So a bunch of these. And a few of these as well. Alright, that will do for now. Let's get back to the dungeon crawling. So, need to clear out the Hall of the Guard. And hopefully we'll find the fourth scepter in there. And that will complete our quest. But I suspect it's probably going to be guarded by something unpleasant. Because that's how these things usually tend to work. In previous quests I've had to deal with mind flayers. Who are not very nice. This place seems to be mostly drow wizards. Who are a pain in the ass. Yes. Not quite as scary as mind flayers, though. You think you're so smart just because you can turn invisible. But you're not. You're not smart at all. That staff finishing move is actually surprisingly potent. I should try and make a bit more use of that when I am at those times that I am forced into close combat. As it doesn't use any magic points either. All you have to do is charge it up so those 3 lights under the interface at the top light up. Oh, I hate that spell. That big boomy spell they do there, whatever it is. I think this might be our thing that's guarding the stuff. Hit him. I wonder if that's something I should be trying to pick up. Oh well, I can't carry any more at the minute. Can't be that important, can it? This is where it's like scale armor +3 or something. Smash all the things, because there's usually good stuff in them. Those skeleton keys, those are used for opening locked doors and treasure chests, so those are usually what you would pick up to find optional treasures in dungeons. Oh no, it's a trap! Now, of course, there are treasures on said trap to tempt me. I can't really see any further ahead, unfortunately. That'll do. Oh, and that's a shortcut back to the entrance. Just need to smash all this shit out of the way, and there we go. Lovely. I think we've done it, by Jove. Oh, there's loads of treasure in here, but I've got, like, no skeleton keys. And a warp stone. Nope. Any keys lying around here? Doesn't look like it. That's a shame. Would have liked some treasure. Please die. Stop casting that horrible spell as well. Berserk brew. That sounds like fun. Maybe not for a wizard. Right, I believe now I have all 4 scepters. I should be able to open this door over here. There's an oddly underdramatic opening of a door we've been trying to open for several hours at this point. Nothing interesting with that statue over there. Any interesting stuff down here? No. Alright, onward. This is all very exciting. This is further than I've ever got in this game before. Back in the day, I played it a fair bit, and like I say, we played it in co-op a bit, but we were also a little bit burnt out from playing quite so much Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance previously as well. So we didn't get that far in it. Soul Shard, yay! Those are used for powering up your ancestral weapon. I think there's 20 of them in the game. And every few of them you get your ancestral weapon, which is the weapon you start the game with, gets more powerful. So you see at the moment I've got an ancestral staff +1, which does 7 to 20 damage. It's not quite as good as my quarterstaff +2 at the moment. But as soon as I get some more soul shards, that will become more powerful. Right, that's a portal, presumably. Now you give me skeleton keys. Uh-oh. Oh, it's the beholder. I was not prepared for this. Thankfully, I have lots of potions.
Who seeks the gem of winds? I'll feast upon your flesh and scatter your bones to the plains.
I guess we're fighting a beholder then. Alright. Stop! Ow! Ow. He's not super tough, at least. I just got to try and avoid those spells that he's doing. Ow. And make sure I don't get hit by things. Right, magic missiles are at least doing a decent amount of damage to him, so this shouldn't be too hard. Oh no, they come through the things. Heal through the pain. Lots of money lying around. I'll take this opportunity to hoover up some gold. Ow. There we go. That was easy. You things are supposed to be tough. Ugh. To be fair, that is how I would expect a beholder to die. Oh! Okay. I guess we're doing that fight again. Can't believe that. That's so rude. Yes, yes, yes. Who dares blah blah blah. Alright, need to make sure I'm far enough away to avoid those icy blasts, because those are the dangerous ones. That's what killed us last time. We got hit by one of those just as he died. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now you're dead. Bleh. Right, now move, just in case. Ah. All good. Hoover up all that treasure. Teabag the dead hero. Okay, so I guess our next quest is going to be finding some various elemental gems in order to open these different portals. Yeah. I see where this is going. Use this portal to travel to and from Bale's shop. Fine then, I will.
Where are the scepters? So you know the way to the portals then? This is wonderful news. But wait, what is that I see? The wind gem? The gems are returning from the plains. Yet the toughest road lies ahead. I have reason to believe Caden is alive and growing ever stronger. If the gems fall into his hands, Bale will be destroyed. You must get those gems. I will help you as much as I can, but I too fear for my own safety. Is there anything you need?
So, he has reason to believe that the evil wizard we've been tracking is still alive. No shit. No shit, sir. Leather gloves +3. Got scale gloves. Those are armor class 5 as well. Get rid of those. Thrown daggers. No need for those, really. Berserk brew. Doubles all damage done. I hope that includes spells. Fiery oil. Don't need quite as many of those. So the trouble is, it's all very well sort of carrying these around just in case you need them, but they all weigh stuff, so it really is worth chucking the stuff you don't need. Ring of the Wise. I'll stick with a Constitution. Okay, and then you can buy a few more potions. Oh, and some skeleton keys. Give me 9 of those. How many of these have I got? Doesn't actually say, does it? Got 2 medium healing potions and 15 small ones. Okay. I think we're good for healing potions at the minute. Okay, I think we'll leave that there for today, because that's sort of finishing a fairly major quest in the game before moving on to the next point there. Hopefully that's given you a good idea of what this game is all about. As I say, it's a relatively conventional action RPG hack and slash sort of game. Similar to several other games that you'd find at the period. With this one's unique twist being the fact that you can play up to 4 players, and it's 3rd edition D&D. Yeah, lot to like about this game. If you enjoy this sort of hack and slash gameplay and you're looking for something that not as many people have played, this is worth checking out, because this is an original Xbox exclusive. So if you didn't have an original Xbox back in the day, you won't have played this. This wasn't on PlayStation, this wasn't on GameCube, this wasn't on anything else. This was just for Xbox. So worth checking out for that reason alone, really. Anyway, we'll leave that there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.